$7 billion budget waiting on Governor Mary Fallon's signature. Lawmakers passed it about 2 weeks ago, but could another oil price slump land us right back in the same crisis? How will our state move forward? State Senator David Holt joins us now to talk about how Oklahoma can protect itself from another financial meltdown. Thank you so much for joining us today, Senator.
Thank you, Ariel. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So you co-authored a House bill that aims to shield our state from future economic crises. How would the Revenue Stabilization Fund work?
Yeah, so this year we had obviously the short-term crisis of dealing with a $1.3 billion shortfall, but I also felt like there were lessons to be learned from that needed to be applied now while they were still fresh. And one of those was we didn't have enough savings on hand. You know, we live in a state based on an energy-based economy. We don't know when the price drops are going to happen, but we know they're going to happen. And the fact that we didn't have adequate savings, I think, is a testament to poor planning. And so we shouldn't have to make dramatic cuts every time oil prices go down. We should have something that we can turn to. We had the rainy day fund, but it was inadequate. So I worked with Representative John Michael Montgomery on this House bill you referenced that creates a revenue stabilization fund that will take a little bit of the corporate income tax and a little bit of the gross production tax, which comes from oil and gas exploration, put it aside into a new savings account, and we'll be able to turn to that. And they've already done some modeling. If we'd had that for 20 years, we might have had a couple $100 million this year, which would have really helped.
You mentioned our state's dependence on the oil and gas industry, and our viewer actually has a question that relates to this. James Walton wants to know, you claim that you're diversifying our state's economy, but you voted to reduce wind energy tax credits. How can we diversify our state's economy if we don't welcome all industries?
Great. I mean, that's a great question because that it gets to the crux of the matter. You've had people coming to the Capitol this year saying almost at the same time, you've got to do more to diversify the economy. And then they're also saying, you got to cut back on all these tax credits for industry, you know? And I'm saying, well,
I think maybe they mean tax credits for oil and gas companies.
Yeah, well, they do probably mean that, but they also kind of don't like any of them. A lot of people don't. And the problem is the ones that are not for oil and gas companies are, in fact, you know, trying to diversify the economy. I did vote to pull back on some of the wind tax credits. I think those have gotten a little out of hand. Would I have done that in a year when we didn't have a $1.3 billion shortfall, however? I don't know. Probably not. I mean, these were desperate measures that we were turning to in a time of crisis. And I think you have to look at that context.
Talking about unpopular cuts, let's talk to an unpopular presidential candidate. You made some headlines on our show last time when you appeared on the 9 a.m. and I want to play for our viewers your thoughts on Donald Trump's candidacy.
Sure. I will never support Donald Trump. I have a daughter. I have to sleep at night. I mean, he lacks the competence. He lacks the human decency. He lacks the gravitas. He is not presidential material, and he scares out of me.
He scares out of you, was the quote there.
Yeah, I remembered I was on television.
Yeah. So now Donald Trump, the difference here is he is the presumptive nominee of your party, the Republican Party. Many Republicans have, whether reluctantly or not, embraced him, including some of our own congressmen and senators in Washington, D.C., and the Republican Party here in Oklahoma. Are you going to jump on the bandwagon?
You know, two decisions I've made in my life come to mind that are endlessly validated. One is marrying my wife, Rachel, and two is not backing Donald Trump. Every day that goes by, I feel more confident in my decision that I simply cannot support him. You saw this last week, his racist comments about a judge. I mean, to say that someone cannot do a job because of their ethnic background is the literal definition of racism. And so, no, I believe me, my mind has not changed. I still find him repulsive.
So are you going to vote for Hillary Clinton?
No, I'm no more enthusiastic about her candidacy. It's a tough time for thoughtful conservatives in this country and in Oklahoma. I don't know what I'm going to do. I just know that I can't vote for somebody who violates all of my core principles.
Are you disappointed in your colleague's decision to back Donald Trump?
I try not to judge. You know, people have been conditioned to support the party nominee for a very long time. I obviously have been a good Republican who's been to conventions and has been a member of the Electoral College. I've been very supportive of Republican nominees my entire life. I don't judge those who are conditioned to do that. I just know what I have to do.
You've been supportive of our state's governor, Governor Mary Fallon, and her name has been tossed in the ring as possible vice presidential nominees alongside with Donald Trump. What do you think of that idea? What if an Oklahoma governor ends up as the vice presidential candidate?
Your question is, would that change my mind? Absolutely not. I mean, Donald Trump would still be the nominee. I mean, you vote for a president. It's interesting what people do with vice presidents, and maybe even more interesting with Trump because he needs to demonstrate to some people. I don't think it will matter to me, but he needs to demonstrate to some people some gravitas in his selection. But normally, at the end of the day, you're voting for the presidential nominee, and he'll still be the presidential nominee no matter who he picks, even if he picked you, Ariel.
So, well, I don't think that my name is in the running for that, but I appreciate the vote of confidence. What would you say to your constituents who are really torn as to who to support in this election? You yourself sound torn as well.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Well, you sound like you're taking a firm stance, but maybe don't know who to vote for, I guess.
Absolutely right. No, I mean, I have that conversation all the time. I don't know what to tell people. I wish that I appreciate that people sometimes seek me out, hoping that I'll be able to walk them through this. But it's a mess that I have no easy way out of. We will have on the ballot Trump, Clinton, and Gary Johnson, the Libertarian. That candidacy has 2 Republican governors on it, so that's 2 more Republican. I mean, that's more Republicans than we'll have on the Republican ticket. But I don't know. We'll see where it all goes and how it feels in November. But right now, I just know who I can't vote for.